Surely you're familiar with the age-old tale of Adam and Eve, the first couple of humanity, and the tragic narrative of their sons, Cain and Abel. But have you ever pondered upon the mysterious mark that God placed upon Cain? What exactly was this mark, and what significance did it hold? In this comprehensive exploration, we delve into the depths of this enigmatic biblical account to uncover its true meaning. Before delving into the exact significance of Cain's mark, it's imperative to address and debunk some of the outlandish theories that have circulated over time. In today's age of rampant misinformation, it's crucial to distinguish between sensible interpretations and unfounded speculations. The first theory posits that Cain's mark was a physical alteration of his skin color, resulting in a darker hue. Proponents of this theory often reference the term Cush, which is frequently used in biblical contexts to denote dark skin. However, a thorough examination of the Genesis text reveals that there is no explicit mention of Cain's skin color changing as a result of the mark. Furthermore, the absence of the term Cush in reference to Cain's mark is a significant point of contention for this theory. In biblical passages where individuals with dark skin are described, such as descendants of Ham who are associated with Cush, a region traditionally linked with dark-skinned peoples, the term Cush or its derivatives are commonly employed. However, in the narrative concerning Cain's mark, such terminology is conspicuously absent. This absence undermines the credibility of the theory, suggesting a change in Cain's skin color as the manifestation of his mark. Without biblical support or textual evidence linking Cain's mark to a change in skin color, this theory lacks substantial basis and is ultimately refuted by the Genesis text itself. The second theory is not only absurd, but also perpetuates harmful stereotypes and discriminatory ideas. There is no evidence or basis in Hebrew or Aramaic texts to support such a claim. The idea that Cain's mark altered the shape of his eyes to resemble those of Far Eastern peoples is not only unfounded, but also offensive. Furthermore, associating certain physical characteristics with specific ethnic groups is a form of prejudice and racism. It is important to recognize and challenge these ideas in order to promote understanding, acceptance, and equality among all people. It is essential to approach biblical texts with critical thinking and to be cautious of interpretations that promote discrimination or prejudice against any group of people. Instead, we should strive to interpret these texts in ways that promote compassion, understanding, and respect for all individuals. Although intriguing to some, lacks substantial evidence to support its claims. The idea that Cain's mark could persist through his descendants, particularly in a specific ethnic group like the Roma people, is not substantiated by historical or cultural evidence. Firstly, the story of Cain and Abel is primarily found in the Judeo-Christian tradition, specifically within the Bible. The interpretation of Cain's mark as a literal, physical marking passed down through generations is not a widely accepted or supported interpretation within religious scholarship. Secondly, attributing the mark of Cain to the Roma people or any other specific ethnic group is problematic and potentially harmful. It perpetuates stereotypes and discrimination against the Roma community, who have faced centuries of persecution and marginalization. Additionally, the concept of a hereditary mark passed down through generations is biologically and scientifically implausible. Physical characteristics are determined by genetics, not by a mythical curse or mark. Returning to the biblical text in Genesis 4:15, we find mention of Cain's mark as a divine protection granted by God to ensure his safety. The Hebrew term for mark or sign, O, signifies a spiritual safeguard bestowed upon Cain, indicating that no harm would befall him despite his heinous act of fratricide. Contrary to some interpretations, this spiritual protection did not grant Cain immortality, as evidenced by subsequent biblical events such as the flood. Ancient texts such as the Book of Jubilees provide additional insights into Cain's fate, with accounts of his tragic demise differing from the biblical narrative. While the exact circumstances of Cain's death remain a subject of debate, these ancient texts offer alternative perspectives on his final fate. In the Book of Jubilees, the story of Cain's death is presented as a cautionary tale illustrating the consequences of his actions. According to this account, Cain's demise is not brought about directly by divine intervention or punishment, but rather by a tragic accident involving the collapse of his own dwelling. This depiction adds depth to the narrative by highlighting the complexities of divine justice. It suggests that while Cain may have faced consequences for his sin, those consequences were not necessarily meted out in a straightforward or immediate manner by a vengeful deity. Instead, his fate is portrayed as a result of natural circumstances, albeit ones that are ultimately shaped by his own choices and actions. By presenting Cain's death in this way, the Book of Jubilees invites readers to reflect on the broader themes of accountability, responsibility, and the interplay between human agency and divine providence. Indeed, the Book of Jasher is an ancient text that is not included in the canonical Bible, but it is referenced in the Bible in Joshua 10:13 and 2 Samuel 1:18. It is considered an apocryphal book, meaning it is not considered part of the inspired biblical texts by most religious traditions. The account of Cain's death in the Book of Jasher differs from the biblical narrative found in Genesis 4:8, where Cain kills his brother Abel. In the Book of Jasher, Cain's death is attributed to an accidental killing by Lamech, a descendant of Cain, and his son. Lamech, mistaking Cain for an animal in the fields, strikes him with a bow and arrow, ultimately causing his death. However, there are discrepancies and doubts about the reliability of this account. The identity of Cain's killer, as well as the circumstances surrounding his death, vary significantly between the biblical text and the Book of Jasher. Despite controversies surrounding these accounts, the Book of Jubilees remains a valuable source of insight into biblical narratives, supported by archaeological findings confirming its antiquity. While the Book of Jasher offers intriguing perspectives, its historical accuracy is often questioned, emphasizing the importance of critical analysis when considering ancient texts. In conclusion, the mystery of Cain's mark continues to intrigue theologians and scholars alike, prompting diverse interpretations and debates. Through a careful examination of biblical texts and ancient writings, we gain valuable insights into the complexities of divine justice and the consequences of human actions. As we delve deeper into these timeless narratives, may we remain vigilant against misinformation and prejudice, seeking truth and understanding in our quest for knowledge.
If you found this video enjoyable, please consider liking and sharing it. Additionally, subscribing to this channel will ensure that you receive more updates in the future. Thank you.